Excellent. Well, I'm going to start this one. This is all around utilizing OpenAI. So if you're not familiar, OpenAI are the makers of ChatGPT, but we're not going to be using ChatGPT here. We're going to be using the OpenAI API, which is a bit of a tongue twister, endpoints directly within FME. The way that we're going to do this is by using transformers which are already set up and ready to reach out to OpenAI's API services. There's quite a few of them, of which I'm pleased to say that we are a verified publisher in the FME Hub. And so if you search against Avinion Tensing or anything OpenAI, you'll see that we have one called the OpenAI Vision Connector. But there's a whole load of others created by other partners and just wider community members, as well as safe software. Cool, thanks for that. I think within this one, we're going to demo a couple of different transformers that work with OpenAI in slightly different ways. Just to scroll up a little bit, Siobhan. So there's a whole range of models out there. The naming gets incredibly confusing. In some cases, something that was released as GPT 4.5, for example, I think is older than GPT 4.0, and yeah, the whole thing gets very confusing. But needless to say, the best thing to do is do a little bit of research as to what you want. There's a nice little summary here as to the power of each of them. But I would say probably what's the nicest is the little GPT 4.1 is very good. It came out, I think, 3 or 4 months ago. Most important thing about that one is it's got a 1 million token context window, so you can pass an awful lot of information to it. It's also very cheap to run and has multimodality, which means you can pass imagery and sound to it as well. So that's a little bit of an introduction to OpenAI. Now I'm going to hand over to Siobhan, who will demo a geospatial use case with OpenAI. Here we go.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Oliver. Cool. So we're going to jump into an example today looking at OpenAI and OpenStreetMap. So the great custom transformer in the FME Hub, the OpenAI OSM reader, which passes or creates an overpass query for us to find OSM data using a bit of AI. So jumping into the workspace for this, it's a nice and simple workspace. Only got 4 transformers in here. In this first one here, we're using the OpenAI ChatGPT connector to create a bounding box. So the great thing about OpenAI and I guess most large language models is they also have quite a good spatial awareness most of the time. And so we're able to pass in a prompt, such as a given area in the UK, central Bristol, and provide a system prompt here to ask it to provide back a bounding box in our JSON structure here. So our latitude and longitude, north and maximum and minimum, so we can get that bounding box of our area.
And yeah, the only thing that you do need, obviously, is an API key. So you can get that API key by going to OpenAI and setting up a registration. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any free version, but making a call with the 4.0 Mini is very cheap indeed. Literally, I don't even think it's a penny. So definitely, if you put just $5 down, you're going to get some good amount of exposure to play around and really test out these tools and transformers.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And with the JSON extractor, we get our 4 attributes out of there. So with those 4 attributes, we can then go to our OpenAI OSM connector. Again, you'll need that API key. If we're using the GPT-4o model again, this time we want it to find parks. So we're not checking the OSM kind of terms.
The overpass query terminology is really difficult, right? The number of domains is kind of insane. So I don't know if we don't honestly know whether it's parks or recreational areas or whatever. The whole point here is it doesn't matter. The prompt has already been created to convert whatever Siobhan has put into that field into a valid or suitable overpass query, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure in the same way you could probably have small typos in there, and it would still be able to extract the meaning of what you want out of there and pull out the right data. So from that, we get our parks and fitting in those 4 attributes to get our parks or recreational areas or playgrounds in central Bristol. There we go. So if we have a visual preview, we can see here, click on the background map, we've got a nice area of Bristol with a whole range of parks. Any minute. There we go.
So we are in Bristol. All good. So this is a really, the application of this is really powerful, because if you want to bring in any data for any kind of testing, or even if you just don't want to keep a local copy of parks because you don't want to keep a national repository, then you could use this as a really nice tool to pull down data very quickly, just to run analysis on the latest and greatest OpenStreetMap data.